What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our FA Cup preview here on Anfield Agenda. I'm sure you don't need reminding, but the Reds travel to Molineux to take on Wolves for the second time in 3 days, and hopefully, well, we leave there with a better result this time. As always, I'm going to go through, give you my predicted 11, a bit of an injury update, or at least as much as we know at this point. We're going to talk about the head-to-head with Wolves. Of course, you don't need too much reminding about that. We've only done a Wolves preview very recently, and we're also going to go through and give you my predicted 11 and score prediction. We do want to know your thoughts as always, so let us know in the comment section. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. There is a lot that I want to go through in this video, but I want to just start off by talking about changes that are going to be needed. Look, we could go into this game, roll the dice with the same team again and hope we get a reaction, and that could very well be what Arna's done, but I can't do that with my team selection, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give it to you straight, I'm going to give it to you honestly, and I'm going to tell you the changes that I think he needs to make. With regards to an injury update, well, I don't think we have any new injury concerns after the game, and other than that, we pretty much are where we were. So for that, ladies and gents, let's get stuck into a bit of a head-to-head, and then we'll have a look at the officials for the game as well. Want to just remind you that it's an 8 p.m. kickoff on Friday. A couple of people were confused thinking it was a Saturday game. It's a Friday night game in the FA Cup, 8 p.m, which means we will be live here from 6:45. So let's have a look now at the officials for the game, and then we'll talk about the situation with head-to-head and stuff like that. So, as you can see, the referee for the game is going to be Farai Halam. His assistant referee is going to be Adrian Holmes and Mark Stevens. Fourth official, Anthony Backhouse. And, of course, there will be VAR involved in this one. So, James Bell will be the VAR official, with Daniel Robathane will be his assistant. So, with regards to head-to-head, well, Premier League 25-26, and you don't want reminding of this one, it was, of course, Wolves 2, Liverpool 1. Then, in the reverse fixture, it was Liverpool 2, Wolves 1. Premier League last year, both games were won by the Reds by 2-1. Can you see a pattern forming here, ladies and gentlemen, with the fixtures that Liverpool and Wolves? Seems to be 2-1s all over the shop. Recent form, Premier League, of course, it was Wolves 2, Liverpool 1. Also in the Premier League, Wolves 2, Aston Villa 0 in the Midlands Derby. Premier League, they lost 1-0 away against Crystal Palace. Then it was Wolves 2, Arsenal 2. And in the FA Cup, Grimsby Town 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1. So as you can see, even though they are rock bottom of the Premier League, Wolves are putting together some decent results, and look, we know only too well about that. They beat Aston Villa, who are also chasing Champions League football. They beat us, who were chasing Champions League football, and they took points off Arsenal, who were chasing second place. So, you know, there is always that, ladies and gents. I mean, if I can't make you smile, I give up, but that's the best I've got for you, because there's not going to be too much upside to this video. It is just me just trying to not burst into flames. That's how angry I really am right now. So, with all of that in, let's have a look now at my predicted 11, and I'll try my best to talk you through some of the changes I've made and why indeed I've made them. So, goalkeeper and centre-backs. This is what I've gone for here. We need to see Georgie Mamardashvili. We just need to. I know it might be tempting for Arna to stick with Alisson. He had a mistake in him last night. Let's be honest, that clearance for the Wolves' second goal was abysmal. He should have either put it into touch or put it straight further up the pitch. Jones didn't do him any favours by playing the ball back to him. But that being said, just not good enough from Ali in that regard. And we need to see what the future holds. So I'd like to see Georgie Mamardashvili given the opportunity between the sticks here, because at some point we have to learn whether Georgie's going to be good enough to take over longer term from Alisson Becker. Centre-backs then, I don't really think we can change it up, quite honestly. One, we have to stay in this competition and we have to make sure that we get the win. And two, we don't really have too many options at centre-back because, well, we've got injuries and not enough depth at centre-back in general. So Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate are my two centre-back pairings for this one, with Georgie in goal. Now, into the full-back positions. So what I've gone for here is Milos Kerkez to keep his place at left back, because Andy Robertson, of course, did come on for the last half hour, and I think we need that Kerkez energy down the left-hand side, especially when you see the changes I've made up front. So it's Milos Kerkez for me on the left, and on the right-hand side, well, I'm going for Joe Gomez. Now, you can probably guess what that means further up the pitch, but I'm going for Joe Gomez because, again, I want to make some changes a little bit further up the pitch. Joe is, well, very capable at right back. He might not be Jeremy Frimpong, but he's a very solid choice. And again, we don't really have many options in that regard. Calvin Ramsey, I mean, I could sit here and say to you, play him, but we all know Arna's not going to. We could talk about Connor Bradley, but of course he's injured. So that is my back five for this one. Georgie Mamardashvili in goal, Milos Kerkez at left back, Joe Gomez at right back with a centre back pairing of Ibrahim Kanade and your captain Virgil van Dijk. So now we move into the middle of the park and again expect some changes here. So what I've done is I've brought Curtis Jones in, and I know he wasn't great in the game, and I'm not saying that he is the answer to all of our problems, but I'm saying there has to be, I am saying there has to be some accountability, and Curtis Jones for me should come in for this one. Fresh legs, maybe a bit more impetus to get attacking, get forward and make stuff happen. And alongside him, I want to see Trey Morris-Leone get an opportunity to really show what he can do. I know this is rolling the dice somewhat, but I would make the argument that even putting on paper your strongest team out here against Wolves, well, that's no guarantee of anything. We've seen that with the game against Wolves in the league. We've seen that we were incapable of getting the result. So Trey Morris-Leone, Curtis Jones and Dominic Szoboszlai would be the midfield three that I would put in. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments so far, ladies and gentlemen. I do think you have to mix it up in there. You could put Endo in to break things up as well, perhaps if actually he's out injured, isn't he? So my apologies on that one. So yeah, we don't really have many options then. So it's Trey Morris-Leone, Curtis Jones and Dominic Szoboszlai. That's the midfield trio for me. Now though, we move into the business end of the pitch, and this is where you will see wholesale changes. And I make no apologies for this. I'm absolutely confident that this is the right decision. I would go with Rio Ngamoa on the left-hand side of the attack and Jeremy Frimpong on the right-hand side of the attack, because, well, at least Frimpong will run. At least Frimpong will be able to get round a man. At least Jeremy will mix it up and try to take people on, as will Rio on the other side. So I think that's fairly self-explanatory. You can't reward Salah. You can't reward Gakpo for absolutely abysmal performances. So you got to shake it up. So Frimpong on the right for me. Rio Ngamoa on the left. And look, if Frimpong can't play the full 90, fair enough. You've got Fede there. You've got other options. You've got young Morrison on the bench as well. So why not give them an opportunity? Can't do any worse than the senior players, can they? So that's the wide positions, and now just the striker. And of course, I'm going for Hugo Ekitike. I wouldn't dare put Cody Gakpo in there. And I know it's a lot of football for Hugo, but we do have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off before we play then on Tuesday away in Istanbul against Galatasaray. And needs must. We got to get a result. We got to stay chasing down silverware. This is one of our very few hopes this season to take anything positive out of it. So that is my 11, ladies and gentlemen. Georgie Mamardashvili in goal. Joe Gomez at right back. Milos Kerkez at left back. Centre back pairing of Kanade and Van Dijk. Midfield of Curtis Jones, Trey Leone and Dominic Szoboszlai. Rio Ngamoa on the left. Jeremy Frimpong on the right and Mr. Hugo Ekitike through the middle. Now, all that remains is for me to give you a score prediction. And this was genuinely a difficult one. And this is what I've gone for in the end after thinking it through. 2-2 and Liverpool to go through on penalties. That's my best guess at this one. I don't think it's going to be straightforward. I'm not really sure how strong Rob Edwards and Wolves are going to go with this one. Obviously, their focus and aim is to survive in the Premier League, as difficult as that may be. So I'm going to say we go through on penalties after another nervy 90 minutes plus extra time. So that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Over to you guys now. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I hope you've enjoyed the preview, and if you have, don't forget to hit that like button, and we'll see you soon. A reminder, it is an 8 p.m. kickoff on Friday. We'll be live from 6:45. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.